Hey, now welcome back. This is Brother Moses, and I'm ready to start rocking with y'all on that second topic. The second topic being black men inside of the house. Now, I put the topic as, or the title as, when aren't black men expected to compromise? Back on my dusty red recliner, my big old dusty red recliner. I do like the feel of this red recliner, although I do not like being in a congested area. Um, This topic is dear to me because I am a black man, and I do agree with the sentiments that black men do have a moral and a social political obligation to be the representatives of the or the leaders of the black community. That does not mean that that is an exclusive right only to black men just because of their genitalia. The black man by default leadership does not have to originate inside of a spiritual system like Christianity for me to believe it. It doesn't have to go into the the construct of war and physicalities. Hey, how you doing, Mimi? Dog. What is ADOLS? You're gonna have to tell me what. You're gonna have to give me the breakdown of your name. Anyway, we have an opportunity to actually engage with people who can have real conversations and real influence, and that's what we do. And as a contributing content creator to that B1 network, I am proud to announce that I will be working on investing in better equipment. That's got to happen, man. Hey, and as you continue to hear me on, like you probably heard Brother Moses on a couple of different panels and things, you probably have formed somewhat of an opinion, but as you hear me live without the distractions of trying to rebut somebody else's point and you hear what I have to say, hopefully you like it. Some of it you will agree. I just hope that if you disagree, you do so respectfully inside of the chat to where I can see it. And I don't have people who just outright disagree with me and go on to other panels and channels. And even I know it will happen. It's just inevitable. But disagree. I would love the disagreement because I would love for iron to start sharpening iron, for men to be accountable for men, for the community of us to include us as a part of those discussions and the decision-making process. So this topic here is dear to me for so many reasons that I just gave. And when I go into it, I will be using as my point of reference the conversation that is linked to the celebrity of the Miss Fantasia Taylor. Very popular, very popping conversation because it goes into one of those elements of submission. And in many cases, most people would agree that there is going to be compromise. And so I just asked the question, when aren't black men expected to compromise? Key points there. Aren't, meaning that it happens so much in my mind that there's almost in every facet of living, the black man is expected to compromise. And the expectation can be unpacked as well. To whom are those expectations, or from whom are those expectations originating? Are there societal expectations that the black man has to compromise his own personal integrity or value set for? The answer is an obvious yes. It's not rhetorical. As a functioning member of society, there is an expectation of a form of compliance or acquiescence, social contract and contract theory and all of that shit. Philosophical, but also an application, applied philosophy, excuse me. Politically, of course, there are laws and rules of order, code of conduct, things that are codified that says a black man that may want to find themselves in an entrepreneurial spirit, dabbling inside of businesses that other people have not ventured into yet, that regulatory environments and bodies and all of those different figures, people, more or less, and then the words, their ideas will be at direct conflict with that man's own sense of sovereignty. And so it is upon or beholden upon that man to weigh and judge those conflicts. And in many cases, to determine for themselves that they have to compromise. They have to compromise. Black men are compromised. What up, Jeremy? Be sure to like and subscribe. This conversation, or this part of the conversation, won't be too long because I just went on a phenomenal rant about Candace Owens. I called her a bitch and everything. I'm almost proud of myself. But she is not my elected representative. She married a white boy, and now she goes to subcommittee hearings saying that white supremacy and white nationalism, you know, if she acknowledges that it exists, she says it's such a small problem that we shouldn't focus on it. And I would tend to disagree. The very seat that she was sitting on was one that was upholding the white supremacist structure. It is an institution and the interconnected network of institutions, rules governing associations, affiliations, and all of that. And because she has to go to them and operate and have that conversation, it discredits that it doesn't exist type of mentality. And on the contrary, I do believe that we have a power base that's within us. What up, sis? And our power is going to be deeply rooted in our ability to stop fucking compromising so fucking much. Oh, and for those who are new to the channel, I do use words like fucking, motherfucker, whore, asshole, bitch, slut. I shame the shit out of fat people sometimes, man. Bear with me. I'm still on my journey and learning that I need to be a little bit more open and fair myself. I got some meat on the bones, on those skeletons in that closet, meaning I've been through some shit. So work with me. And hopefully we have some people who disagree with how I present information and my character or my charisma, and they challenge me on that. I would be open to that. But I had a problem with the Candace Owen thing. She can go in there and talk about Black America, but she would never once, not in that entire speech that I read of hers, never once did she say white America or white people. And the whole premise of her being there was to talk about, her whole premise of being there, appreciate it, was to discuss confronting white supremacy. And so she opened up by saying, you know, I'm not going to talk about it. It's insignificant. There are bigger issues for the Black community. Socialism is a bigger threat, and immigration is a bigger threat, and education is a bigger issue. And then she went on to, as she normally does, her standard talking point, Democrats are the problem, Democrats. And the only reason why they're doing this is to get the Black vote. Even if all of that is true, that was not why you were called there. But she did have one good point. She said the Black man back inside the home. So what I want to do is give a quick perspective here, because I think I did see my brother Taz go live, and I hate for us to both be going live. I would rather be listening than talking in many of these cases. So what I'm going to do is share my second screen, which is just a clip from Instagram, or not a clip, but from Instagram, of the couple of discussion. Right now, they're hot. They're trending. Good looking couple, if I say so myself. He's a little bit taller than her. He looks like he works on his weight. She looks like she has one heck of a frame. Like if you scroll through the pictures of Fantasia and you're not like, wow, as a Black man, then something got to be wrong with you. But I understand some people aren't really attracted to Black women. But the dynamics there are apparent. The black suit that she's wearing versus the more colorful suit that he's wearing. This is the hat that she's wearing is styled after like those police hats or a position of authority. Black suit or black suit jacket being more of a formal up top. The necklace or almost the regal pieces of a choker rather than just a standard choker. The conflicting messages that you see, the earrings. I love the hoop earrings, the diamonds in them and all of that. Go ahead, sister, with your bad self. But we know symbolism. And symbolism matters. The sheer, the beauty of the legs or the size of a woman's legs. So let me show you my sexiness so I can be an authoritarian, regal person but I got my sexy side, my submissive side, my side that is a bit flirtatious and untraditional. And all of this taken together, that creates the human being of Fantasia as represented in just this image. Has the juxtaposition of the man. And in that, there are certain areas that many men would want to look at and say, I would have to have an opinion. I'd be critical about that. For instance, typically with a business suit or a power suit, something of this nature, there would be some form of blouse or some type of top. There would be some type of conservatism or something that says when you look at the way she is dressed right now, they would try to put it in a box versus on this side, we say what is appropriate manners to dress on this side, we'll say what is inappropriate. And then they would look at the husband and say, well, the husband, do you allow your woman to wear provocative clothing like this, to be a sex symbol when she has so much more to offer? She is a representation of you and your family and your household. Black man, how do you let your woman come out of the house like this? Personally, Moses Jenkins, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I like the symbolism in it. I like the authority piece. I run my world. I run my business. I like the statement that it's making. Look, when I signed on and allowed other people to have control over my destiny and my career, And I see it's not going to allow me to actually operate today. And so what I'm going to do is, let me see. I am going to defer this conversation because there's too many nuances for me to actually have the conversation with such a glitchy and spotty system. I may have to come in live from YouTube itself rather than through a platform that allows for others to join and for me to share the screen and just have the conversation. A little bit disappointing, but we'll get over ourselves. Yeah, man. Tell me what your thoughts are. Not on the fashion element unless you're ready to talk about symbolism. Not much on a celebrity and what does that mean? And not even from the condemning voice that many men like to use on what a woman should and should not do. But from this dynamic of the male's ability or expectation to compromise. Question is, when aren't black men expected, not asked? Nobody's asking for your permission here, or nobody's asking for you to like it or not. You are expected as a black man to compromise. And so the other side of that same question, when aren't black men expected to compromise, would be the answer. Are there areas where it is not necessary for the black man to be in a position of compromise, where the black man could just say, you know what, I'm not budging on this. This is where I stand. This is a hard line, no. Or this is a hard line, yes, we will be moving forward in this direction. Is there a hard no? There is no compromise there. Or is there a hard yes? That is the question. You got to break it down. You got to unpack it for yourself through your own self-examinations. Do you have areas in your own life where you are just not willing to compromise? Do those areas extend out to your mate to say, I'm not willing to compromise on behaviors of my mate. My mate can and cannot do certain things, and I am not compromising on that. Or are you someone who looks inward and says, when it comes down to compromise or the expectations that one might set, I set my expectations for myself and I strive to achieve my own expectations, while simultaneously I try my hardest not to put people into that box. I don't want to put them in a box that says, now you need to meet my expectations. Hopefully that makes sense. Are you somebody who wants other people to meet your expectations? Do you have expectations for others? Do you set them? Are they hard expectations? Firm expectations? I guess the third time is the charm. Peace.